Ever get fooled by something that seemed totally harmless? Like, thinking a plant's just a plant.
Yeah.
Well, that's foxtail grass in a nutshell. Looks innocent, but for our furry friends, Today we're diving deep into why this sneaky grass is so dangerous for dogs and, more importantly, how to keep your pup safe.
Right. Got to watch out for those.
So what makes this grass public enemy #1 for dog owners?
It's all in the seeds. Foxtail grass, it makes these tiny barbed seeds. We call them spikelets.
Spikelets, okay.
Yeah, and they've got these crazy sharp barbs all pointing backward like little grappling hooks, and they're made to burrow. Once they grab on, forget it. They're just going deeper.
Oh man, that does not sound pleasant.
No, not at all. They can get right into a dog's skin, ears, nose, even their lungs.
Lungs? Seriously?
Seriously, we're talking infections, abscesses, those nasty pockets of pus, even damage to internal organs, all from these tiny seeds.
This is scary stuff.
Right.
So how can you tell if your dog has gotten into some foxtails? What should we be looking out for?
It can be tricky, but if you see your dog constantly licking or biting at their paws, that's a big red flag.
Okay, paws, got it.
Right, or maybe they start limping or you see some swelling in their paw. Imagine a tiny splinter digging its way deeper into your skin. That's what they're going through.
Ouch, yeah, and I bet it's even worse if that foxtail decides to set up shop in the ear.
You got it. If you see your dog shaking their head a lot, scratching their ears, even tilting their head to one side, that could be a foxtail in the ear canal. And it's not just annoying, it's dangerous.
That's so.
Those barbs can actually puncture the eardrum or work their way into the ear canal lining, and then you're talking chronic ear infections, which are no fun.
So paws, ears. What about the nose?
Oh, that's a whole other level of trouble. If a foxtail gets in the nose, you'll see a lot of violent sneezing, maybe some bloody discharge, and the dog will be pawing at their nose like crazy.
Poor pups, it sounds so uncomfortable.
It is, and what's really worrisome is that those seeds can travel from the nasal passages into the lungs. Then you're talking respiratory problems, even pneumonia.
This is serious stuff. So let's say you notice some of these symptoms in your dog. How does a vet actually diagnose a foxtail injury?
Well, it usually starts with a good physical exam, feeling for anything unusual. Then, depending on what we find, we might need to do some imaging, like x-rays or ultrasounds, especially if we think the foxtail's embedded deep in the tissue.
I see. So what happens if those tests confirm it's a foxtail? What's the treatment like?
It really depends on where the foxtail is and how bad it is. Sometimes we can get away with just removing it and cleaning the area really well, maybe giving the dog some antibiotics to prevent infection.
Okay, that makes sense.
But if it's gotten deep into the tissue, we might need to do surgery. That's to get the foxtail out and deal with any complications, like those abscesses we talked about, or if there's tissue damage.
It's amazing how something so small can cause so much trouble. So if our listeners take away one thing from today, what should it be?
Prevention, without a doubt. Avoiding areas with foxtails, especially in the spring and summer, is huge. And I can't stress this enough. Check your dog after every walk, especially if you've been in a place that might have foxtails.
What should we be looking for specifically during those checks?
Pay close attention to their paw pads, between their toes and around their ears. Really get in there and check.
That's great advice. Are there any other preventative measures, especially for dogs who love to roam off leash?
Absolutely. And this might seem simple, but protective gear can be a lifesaver. Dog booties, to cover those paws, are great if you're hiking or walking in areas where there are foxtails.
Smart. So we've talked about what foxtails are, why they're dangerous, how to spot the signs of trouble, and how vets diagnose and treat foxtail injuries. What's the final word on these pesky little seeds?
Knowledge is power. The more you know about foxtails, the better equipped you are to keep your dog safe.
Absolutely. And you know what it makes you think? Even if you don't have a dog, spreading the word about foxtails could save a furry life. Tell your friends, family, neighbors, post about it on social media.
Exactly. Let's look out for each other's pups.
Well said. On that note, we're wrapping up this deep dive. Remember, folks, when it comes to foxtails, prevention is key.